There once was a man named Arian, and he had the unluckiest plot of land in the valley. At least that's what he told everyone. While his neighbors' gardens flourished, Arian's withered. If the sun shone, Arian cursed, "The heat is killing my seeds. The universe denies me shade." If it rained, Arian lamented, "The flood is drowning my roots. The sky conspires against me." When weeds grew, he shook his head and said, "See, the very earth rejects me. I am a victim of the soil." His garden wasn't a place of cultivation, it was a monument to his complaints. He spent his days not with a hoe, but with a pointing finger, at the sky, at the ground, at luck. He saw himself as the only person in the valley who couldn't grow anything. He was a victim of circumstance. Then, one night, the great storm swept through the valley. It was violent. Winds howled. Rain fell like stones. The next morning, the valley was devastated. All the gardens, even the most beautiful ones, were ruined. Arian walked out of his house and looked at the destruction of his own garden. The few plants he had were uprooted. Mud was everywhere. He raised his fists to the gray sky. "Of course!" he shouted. "The final blow! You finally did it! You destroyed me! Why me? Why always me?" He sat down in the mud, the picture of defeat, a total victim of fate. Then he heard a noise. On the other side of the fence, his neighbor, an elderly woman named Mia, was also in her devastated garden, but she wasn't crying. She was humming. With her hands, she was separating the broken plants from the salvageable ones. She was digging channels in the mud to drain the excess water. She was using the broken stakes to create new supports. Arian, shocked, yelled at her over the fence, "Mia, what are you doing? Don't you see? We are ruined. The storm took everything." Mia paused for a moment, wiped the sweat and mud from her brow, and looked at Arian. She didn't shout back. She just said quietly, "The storm? Oh yes, it was very rude. It didn't ask if it could mess up my garden." She then turned back and drove a stake into the ground. "But the storm is gone now, Arian, and it doesn't know how to hold a shovel." Visual, close-up on Arian's face. The anger dissipates, replaced by confusion, and then shame. She didn't blame the sky. She didn't call herself a victim. She saw the mud and she picked up a shovel. Arian looked at his own hands. They were clean, except for the mud he was sitting in. They held nothing. The storm wasn't a final blow. It was a fresh start. It didn't choose him. It just happened. Arian slowly stood up from the mud. He walked to his shed and, for the first time in years, picked up his own hoe. The work was the same. The earth was the same. The storm was the same. But the gardener was different. This story teaches us the fundamental truth about personal power. Many of us are Arian. Life hands us a storm, a layoff, a breakup, a health issue, and our first reaction is to ask, "Why me?" We sit in the mud and point the finger. We blame our past. We blame the economy. We blame others. We become the victim of our own story. But the victim mindset is a prison where you are both the prisoner and the guard. Mia's lesson is the key. The storm happens. The pain is real. The injustice is real. But the storm is gone now. The hero of your story is not the one to whom bad things never happen. The hero is the one who, after being knocked down, asks, "What now?" The victim says, "Look what life did to me." The hero says, "Look what I'm going to do with this." Which storm have you been using as an excuse to sit in the mud? Comment below. What is the first shovel you will pick up this week? What is the one action you will take to stop blaming and start building? If this story reminded you that you are the gardener, not the storm, please leave a like and share it with someone who needs to be reminded of their own power. Subscribe to the channel for more impactful stories that help you take back control. Remember, life doesn't happen to you or against you. It happens through you. Stop telling the storm the size of your problems. Pick up the hoe. The garden is waiting.